What's up, everybody? It's Saxy Valley. Hope you guys are all doing really well. It's Friday, so it's always a good day when it's Friday. So at the beginning of the week, I went over some things that I was going to go over. Quick announcement before we get started. Just about like 4 more days until my name can be changed to Max Plays Sax. Because just make sure you guys are on board with that. Make sure you guys know next time you try and find me, it's Max Plays Sax. It won't be Saxy Valley much longer. I know some of you guys are upset at me. I'm sorry. It's just how it has to be. But this week, on Monday, I set up a video and we talked about some of the stuff I was going over. I'm not going to play the Glazunov for you guys today, and I'm not going to play A-Train for you guys today. I have been working on that stuff. I've been getting a little farther down the road with those pieces. A-Train's coming along, kind of memorized. And the Glazunov is also coming along really well. So I guess I'll talk about those really quick. So even though I can't play them, which I'm upset about, but so for Take the A-Train, one of the most important things I found to do when it came to memorizing my music is, first of all, make sure you know the song. So any of you guys out there that are getting into jazz, starting to play a lot more jazz and wanting to get better, the first thing I urge any of you guys to do is to just play or listen to more music. Listen to more jazz music. Listen to what the changes sound like. Listen to what other players are doing whenever they are soloing. Are they being motivic? Are they just playing a bunch of notes over and over again? Are they creating space in their pieces? So that's just something to be aware of. And, you know, jazz isn't like a very strict thing. Like, it's not a be-all, end-all if you do something wrong or if you do something that somebody else did. There's been plenty of solos out there that I've done when I was in high school and stuff, and I copied other people's ideas. You know, they're ideas that are to be shared with everybody. You know, if you want to play a 2/5 lick, you know, like someone else did, like Charlie Parker did, then go ahead, go for it. You know, do your best to sound the best of your ability, and listening to other people is just gonna deepen your bag of things that you can do whenever you're soloing. So that is one thing I absolutely recommend. So for me, for this week, Take the A-Train, I did a lot of listening to the song because I not only wanted to listen to how some people soloed over it, but I also wanted to familiarize myself with the changes without, you know, exactly knowing what they were. So I kind of knew what the form of the piece was like, how I changed shifting from keys and stuff. So that's like, I think that really helped me when it came to memorizing because I kind of knew where I was going next. Another thing I did when I was memorizing was I isolated pieces. So I took pieces of the music that I didn't know, and I would isolate that spot, and I would just rep it over and over again. And then I would do a couple of notes until I knew it was right. And then I'd do a couple more notes until I knew it was right. And I would just be building blocks. And the longer you go, going back and making sure you know it up until a certain point. So if I was memorizing the first 5 measures, I would memorize the first 3 measures, do those a bunch, then I would go to the 4th measure, and then go back to the first measure, go back through it all the way up into the 4th measure. It's only going to strengthen your memory as you go. And then, yeah, so that's coming along. It's not done yet, but I'm still working on that, and hopefully we'll get it done by next week. As for the Glazunov, we have a studio, saxophone studio recital coming up, and I will possibly not be performing in that because my solo piece, the Glazunov, is 15 minutes straight with no movement breaks in between. So sure, there's some stylistic changes throughout the piece that chunk it differently, but at the end of the day, it's hard to play a piece and then just stop halfway through. So I've been working on the Glazunov. I've gotten down to about the 4th page. I was working with my professor this week, and he said to try and get the 3rd and 4th page down for Wednesday of next week for our next lesson. So I've been working mostly on that. I think I can definitely say that the first two pages have gotten really solid, which is good for me. Um, and so when it comes to approaching pieces that are new, um, once again, biggest thing that I'll do is I'll listen to it first and I'll follow along to the music. So I wish I could play it for you guys. I didn't bring my alto down here today. I just have my tenor, but I'm gonna go over some jazz stuff with you in a second. But for the Glazunov, it was a lot more of realizing stylistically how people interpret the music. So listen to not only one recording, but listen to like a couple of different recordings of different people playing. And that definitely gave me a better idea as to what certain parts of the music should sound like. So that's definitely something to take into consideration for some of you guys. Yeah, so that's kind of how those pieces are going. I'm not going to dive too much in there because I've already been talking for a long time. So I'm going to just get to some playing real quick and go over some other things of the week. And I will see you guys on Monday. So for this week in jazz, it was a little rough. I've been working on my jazz music. There was this one piece that was tripping me up pretty bad, so I'll just tell you guys about this. There's this piece, one of the Miho pieces, called Dizzy Dizzy Wildflower, has a part in it that I just could not get, and you can see it right there. I have it circled 7,000 times, and I have the beats drawn in because I couldn't get it. So this is a good example, a good little teaching moment, if you will, as to what to do and what not to do. So I was in rehearsal, and I couldn't get it, and I decided that I should definitely check this out after class. So the first step of doing something, like fixing something, is realizing that it's wrong. So definitely make sure when you're going through your music, you're not just on autopilot and just going. Because in high school, like, I tended to do that. I just went on autopilot and I would play. But when it comes to stuff like this, you got to make sure you stop, realize it, and go back. So now I know this piece it's a little tricky, this whole piece. It's a little crazy, but I'll just, like, play a little bit for you, and then I'll tell you about the part that I messed up and how I changed it. So I'll just play the melody for you. So that's the melody. It's really cool because I get to play it, which I'm really happy about. I'm happy with that part, but later in the song, you'll hear some of the trumpets actually have this same part that I'm about to play while I'm doing that melody. And I just couldn't get it. So for this part, the piece is in 12/8, so it's almost in quarter notes, but each beat is 3/8 notes. So what really tricked me up is that in this measure, it's like quarter note, eighth note, triple eighth note, and then it would be, I'll just show you. It's kind of confusing, but you can see it changes because it has this 16th note into our sets of eighth notes. And so what I did was, obviously, I circled my part, figured out what was wrong. And then I decided to, I actually didn't do this, but when I was talking to some friends about it, somebody took a pencil out and drew in where the beats were. I really recommend this because it helps a lot with counting, making sure you come in on the right time. And so now I can see it's rest, rest, right in on 3, we're playing those 16th notes. Another thing that I definitely did that helped me was get rid of the 16th note and just play it regularly. Dun, dun. And then eventually, after getting the feel of the time, you can add the 16th note. So those were some of the things I did. And then obviously the most important thing was work with a metronome. In high school, I made the biggest mistake of not working with a metronome while I practiced. And it was such a mistake because now I'm trying to play catch up with practicing with a metronome. My feet don't tap at even paces. Like there's so many things that can go wrong if you don't practice with a metronome. So please work with a metronome, even though it's annoying. You know, it helps so much. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That was about the biggest thing I struggled with this week. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know what happened. My phone just turned off. The recording stopped. So I'm gonna figure out how to mix these two together and cut it out. But last thing was I'm gonna play like the last half of the page of Harlem Air Shaft for you guys, so you can actually hear a little bit of playing before I'm going. And yeah, for those of you guys back home, make sure you have a great time at homecoming this weekend. Enjoy, be smart, and have fun. And here's a little bit of Harlem Air Shaft. Thank you guys. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I will see you guys on Monday, and be aware of the change from Saxy Valley to Max Play Sax. It's coming up in just a couple days. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Have some fun. And yeah, Saxy Valley out.